Well, it's an early one. Dee and I are setting off at about 4 o'clock in the morning to go mackerel fishing. And we're going to avoid the mackerel vashes, aren't we, Dee? Eh? Hiya. So I'm here at a place called Stonehaven and back out sea fishing, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll just show you the sunrise, it's great. So I got up nice and early because this place can be a little bit of a mackerel bashing place, and you get lots of people here and lots of people casting out and casting over each other's lines. It can be one of those places. So high water's 6 o'clock, and I thought, well, if I get up at 4, I can fish an hour before high water and a few hours after, and probably it's the time of day when the mackerel bashers won't get out here. Believe it or not, one of the guys just turned up. He says that people haven't been catching much recently. Ain't that the story? So I have been out sea fishing recently. I went up and I was fishing off the beach, and I think I could have called that one the ultimate sustainable fishing guide. I blanked. And I've had a couple of trips on boats that have been cancelled. So I've been trying to do some sea fishing, but it just hasn't worked out. And you may not be able to see it behind me, but there is quite a swell today, and that has been a problem for getting the kayak out. So the plan is whack out some feathers, see if I can get about 8 to 10 mackerel. That's all I want. That'll be some for tea, some for the freezer, and a couple of them I'll use as bait, and we'll have another go at fishing off the shore, see what that's like. So I'll bring you back in a bit, and hopefully we've got something. So this is the little harbour of Stonehaven. Yeah, nice and quiet this time of day. Don't know if you can see the swell coming in, and just over about here there's a pot marker. There's another one just over here, I think. So we've got pots right in front, and I guess if people were fishing here that would be even more difficult. I've often been around this corner with the kayak and had some success. But again, today I think it's the weather is just such at the minute that you can't get out. It's forecast to be like that for the next week or so. You might even be able to see on the horizon there the wind farm. They're turning well today. It's now about an hour after high tide, so been fishing for a couple of hours. Nothing at all. Not had a knock. There was another guy here earlier. He's packed in. He didn't get anything. He said that about 2 weeks ago, people getting 50, 60 fish. Probably why there's none left now, eh? Bit of a change of plan. I've come down to a little bit further south than Stonehaven, a place called Crawton. two big seal down here, so maybe we'll catch a seal. It's a change of place, change of scenery. There was absolutely nothing doing at Stonehaven. We're on the rocks here. Tide is now on its way out. Let's just see if we can get something at this one. So as far as the filming goes, there's a lot of noise from the waves. I can't get too close to the edge there because the waves just keep coming up. It's quite, you have to be very, very careful with these waves coming in. Glad I got my floaty suit on. The dog sat on my jacket. I'll put that on in a bit. Let's get back out there, see what we can get. I'll just probably leave the camera running a little bit and you can see what I'm up to. Hopefully I can get close enough to the camera when I've actually got some fish on. So unfortunately the bird flu seems to have taken a lot of these birds. There must be about 10, 20 here on the rocks. Really sad. The other thing I can't understand about people fishing here is that I just found this up here. It seems to me the only thing that's wrong is a single feather has come off that trace. All the hooks look in good order to me. It's just, why not just take the bloody thing home? It's the rubbish at Corton that's the reason why I don't come here. I've been here once before. Obviously pre-bird flu was when I was here last, and you know, that's part of nature, but beer cans, feathers, bits of tackle, it's just bad. I can see myself spending some time picking a few things up here. I've cleared around me anyway, but an endless task. Way off in the distance there is the lighthouse. If you look at my video of the cod fishing off the kayak, what we had there was the lighthouse behind me. That's Catchandrelease. So we got Stonehaven, Croton where I am now, and Catchandrelease behind me. Would have been far better on the kayak, but you can just see that swell there. That's not kayak weather at all. That's I'm having to watch what I'm doing here on the rocks. Could be dangerous, so taking care. So I've just moved along the rocks a bit. It's a little bit higher up here. It feels a bit safer with the way the waves are coming in. Still no fish. I think I've got my lead stuck now. Yeah. See if I can retrieve this. That's the third trace I've lost today. Right, let's see what I can retrieve here. When you're in a situation like this, it's very tempting to kind of try and jump the lead out like this, and all you're going to do is end up breaking your rod. So you want to keep the rod in a straight line with your line, and actually just pull straight on the line so that you've got no pressure on the rod. Otherwise you just break your rod, you break the end off it. So let's see how it goes. So there's me trying to make a video of how to go for a break, and I bent the hook out. so it's all come back. I've got everything back. But you can see the technique. Just keep your rod in line with your line. Just walk backwards, preferably try to look in the opposite direction to where the line's going, so look where you're walking, because when the line pings back, you don't want it to end up bringing a hook into your face or something. At least we didn't have to re-tackle, we still got stuff. So we'll check these hooks and give it another go. So I would say D has got the right idea today. There's not a lot of action, is there, D? Eh? One of the things that I get bothered about in venues like this is that people leave these traces about, and I have to be really careful where I walk with Dee. Otherwise she's going to get the hook in the foot or something. I really don't want that. So it is a concern, really. She's sat on my coat now, and but all around I can see little bits of line. I wish people would take their hooks and sit away with them. I've just had a couple of mackerel. Didn't have the camera on. Guess I wasn't expecting anything. I'm going to fish on for a bit and see if we can capture something on video for you. So it hasn't been a blank, but I would like you to actually see the fish coming in. I was frantically winding because of the seal. So I had 3 fish on a 3 trace feathers, and seal got 1 and I got 2. I would set my drag just you know, as you would for fishing, but with 3 fish on and winding like fury, the drag was slipping a little bit, and I think that made things a little bit slower, and the seal did actually catch one of my mackerel. Anyway, makes it all the more exciting. Let's see if we can get some fish on film. The rig that I'm using today is actually my it's my beach casting rod. I'm using that because it's quite long, and it's quite beefy for chucking fairly heavy weight out. I'm just using a 2 ounce, but I thought if I needed more weight I'd probably be better with this. Also, I find even with a 3 hook trace on lighter spinning rods, puts a bit too much of a bend in them. The beach caster's got a bit more strength about it for handling a 3 hook trace. Now the reel is one of these Rovex 8000s, and anyone that watches the sale section on Angling Direct, again I'm not sponsored by them, will have seen they had these for sale some time ago for, I think the price, princely sum, was $14.95 or something. Ridiculously cheap. I wasn't expecting a lot of it, but I'm into my 3rd year with it and it works all right. So not much point paying for a much more expensive one. So it's a Rovex 8000. It's not the lightest thing in the world, but there it is. 15-pound mono, and because I'm only using this lighter lead, I've just hooked that straight through onto the trace. I've not used a shock leader. So that's my kit today, and it was these 3 hook feathers that were doing the business. I tried some sabikis, various types, and some coloured lures, some things with flappy tails, but nothing much was happening. These were the lures that were making it all work. So yeah, just the standard feather. This one's a coloured set of feathers rather than just the whites. That's all I've got in the box today. I did have a set of 3 white feathers, but they're in the water now, never to be seen again. Snagged. Well, hope you caught that. That was a seal raid. I had 3 mackerel on. Bloody things got 2. The thing with the seal is that when you've got the fish on, you wind like crazy, and it just seems to come underneath the rocks. Almost feels like it comes out from underneath your feet. The rocks here are incredibly uneven and slippery. You've got to be so careful not to go near the edge. There's a bit more of a shelf this side. I'm not right on the edge here. I'm almost out of feathers now. So I'm now fishing with this rig, these little sabikis, and this is actually a rig I've found here. I'm more or less out of my own feathers, and I'm picking these up off the floor. But, it was probably a 6 feather trace. It's down to 5, so somebody's abandoned it, and that's crazy. I'll give it a few more casts. If I get some more fish, I manage to get them in without the seal grabbing them, then I'll carry on. But I think if the seal grabs them again, it doesn't feel fair on the fish, it doesn't feel fair on the seal that it's getting hooks presumably, and it's not much fun. So if it's not the weather that stops the fishing, it's the seal. However, we have some fish to take home. We're going to have fish for tea. Right, here we go. A couple of fish. I dispatched these off camera. I'm going to have a few more casts and see if I can't get just 2 more fish, and that's all I want for today. And that'll be my mackerel session, first one of the year up here in northeast of Scotland. So, they are around. Okay, they're a good sized fish. Going to be good eating. So I've got 6 fish now. 1 just dropped off there. I've probably had a quota that I was after, but I've not actually got them on the bank. So they are a lovely fish, aren't they? You put scales all over you. So I'm thinking that probably I'm going to call it a day. I came out with the intention to catch sort of 8 to 10 mackerel. I've actually got 6 on the rocks. The seal has had different plans. It comes in like a torpedo and you got something on your feathers. So it was a 4 o'clock start this morning. I've had a great day. These still sleeping on my coat. We've got half a dozen fish. It's been fun to have a mackerel session up here in Scotland. You've only got really a 6 to 8 week window when they're around to catch off the shore. So it's not like down in Cornwall where they're there all the time, most of the time. So it's been great fun. I've really enjoyed doing that, and I'm amazed that I've ended up scavenging other people's discarded traces to create a trace for myself. So the last 3 fish were caught on a trace that somebody just left up there. I think because it was a 6 hook trace and there's 5 hooks left on it. And he needs a couple of knots and sorted it out. So yeah, that'll be going home with me, and I'll use it again in the future. I've got enough fish for what we want. We're going to have some nice fish for tea, and just a few in the freezer, and that's what it's about. So it's been great to have you along. So it's tight lines from me and a tail wag from Dee. So Dee, You're going to give him a tail wag at the end of the day. You had a good day as well? Yeah. I think you like my coat, don't you? Aye. So, I'm calling it a day. We're going home, love. You alright? Good girl. 6 fish for tea. That's the harvest today. Just taking what I want. No need to take masses and masses. These are a really nice size, so I'm not going to be using these for bait. These are quality eating fish. I dispatch them all very, very quickly when I catch them. I'm not on for seeing things thrash about on the rocks. I do object to seeing that, or on a boat deck or anything like that. Respect the fish, enjoy eating it, and don't take any more than you need is what I say. Anyway, you can see the gulls lining up there ready for a free feed.